Hey guys, what's up? So, I want to say something real quick on Yu-Gi-Oh! News recently. So recently, Kazuki, Takahashi, sorry, what's your first name, has recently passed away, found dead at age 6 years old, while wearing snuba gear. Currently, there has been investigations on what his death might have been. Going first now. Although his death hasn't been confirmed yet, but so yeah. So in honor of his death, sorry, I'll be covering something interesting, covering some of the Yu-Gi-Oh series. Although, yeah, I know. Oh, I'm almost. So I'm gonna cover something. First of all, I'm gonna cover something real quick. Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, back to business. Oh yeah. So, yeah. So yeah, let's get on with what I want to review. Now, if you're at the time, I'm reviewing this. Yeah, you may be wondering, key for your covering series that Kazuga Takahashi. Yeah, I will review Duel Monsters, but I want to cover this show first because, hey, why not cover something a little bit more kind of recently finished up? And secondly, why not cover something that is at least related to this franchise at least? And I know these spin-off series were not had more direct involvement with the guy, but more at least the franchise in general. And yeah, and I'll be dedicating this month to mostly Yu-Gi-Oh stuff. Anyways, so this franchise. So, so yeah, and also because I'm not feeling it a lot. So we're gonna do my personal thoughts on well, you. So let me get. So yes, before we talk about Yu-Gi-Oh is the most iconic card game franchise of all time. Although it didn't start out like that, it started out by about a kid who basically found some weird puzzle and basically got an Egyptian power, whereas to punish evil by pretty much playing a lot of random games. But after pretty much the card game segment chapters became popular enough, it has been reworked to more of a card game franchise that we know and love today. It got an anime by Toei Season 0 and but prior to our Studio Gallop. Then get replaced by Studio Gallop and you will do Dual Monsters and end up getting spin-off series like GX, 5D, Zexo, Art V, V-Rains. It's kind of surprising how that happens. Sorry, we went off script, but yeah. While V-Rains is a good series, it pretty much introduced it with the Yu-Gi-Oh! Protagonist with the most ridiculous hairs and Link summons. But it was also the same behind this, but it had some behind the scenes issues, such as a change in direction, change in directors, 14 episodes in, multiple recap episodes, and even the studio composer Hikokuro Masuro had a tough time doing the duels like Soul Burner. And also, this is the last time Studio Gallop did this, who had been doing Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime since Duel Links, Duel Monsters, and replaced and decided they would have animate series before we switched to the new studio and the current one we're currently going with at the time recording, Studio Bridge. Which are the only thing I can remember from them can find from them is they had done a few episodes of Fairy Tail, as well as a bit later was the Shaman King remake. Ironically, did Card Fight Vanguard GZ, although that that was with Ohm. For unknown reason, aside from saving money reasons, was also because which was also kind of caused by the Dark Side Dimensions movie took up most of budget of Gallop, despite being a really good movie. If you're wondering, they're doing Digimon nowadays, but yeah. The anime, outside the anime, the card game franchise was doing well, but around roads. Seven's Master Rules Power came from impressions, some players left because of this rule. Basically, they had to use Link Monster Zone, which only send mostly extra monsters, but can only be one at a time, and yeah, it was meant to be slowing down the game and had this extra monster zone that only extra monsters can summon, and that's where links come into basically able to solve the problem. Yeah, create the problem, solve the solution, solve the solution. Excuse me. Yeah, let's immediately another 5. While Master Rules 5 reversed most of these changes and everything, as well as include some other custom changes, but this anime will be using a separate format, which is segue today's review. We are going to talk about Yu-Gi-Oh! 7s. July 1st, 2019. A brand new Yu-Gi-Oh! Series was announced during Jump Fest and everything. It was meant to celebrate the 20th anniversary of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Franchise. Not including any So the yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry. I'm just trying to count over this. Not including season 0. Sorry, pal, but you're not much of it. And sevens. And it was hype until 4 months later, the trailer came out, and 2 months later, Jump Fest took out the title of the trailer for the new series, and people were mostly disappointed with the art style. And yeah, I know this was done by a new studio, and it was also how lighthearted it was going to be. Although the one clip aside from F6 was but also, and also the fan base was broken by a certain with rush duels. Rush duels is basically speed duels, but with some changes. No hand limit, pretty much. You draw up to 5 cards, but you can only draw 1 card if you are at a 5 or more. And no extra deck. Aside from fusion monsters, but that will be a much later, which is currently. Okay, yeah, I know. Okay, the script was written like months in advance. I really haven't changed much. Oh yeah, right. Which is currently in Japan and Korea at the moment, aside from the video game Rush Duels. But there are no simulators, don't count, and it hasn't really been an official simulator one yet. So yeah. Also, if you're still asking, yes, the TCG and Speed Duels are still getting support as much as the main mode of Yu-Gi-Oh. I mean, they're pretty much equivalent to the main mode of Yu-Gi-Oh. You may be wondering why is this because. And also, I said this because it uses its own cards. TCG and OCG are labeled as legacy cards for the most part, although you can only have 1 per deck, aside from their support cards. And aside from their support cards, yeah. If you want to know how to play this, I recommend watching TGS's anime video on how to play Rush Duels. With that out of the way, let's talk about the first episode of the series. Ready? Let's go Rush Duel, or Ready for the Rush in English. Begin with the giant robot towards the mountain. Typical day in Japan. In Japan, alongside kaijus and basically guys dressed up in spandex, and riders wearing cool map as helmets, with powerful kicks. But turns out to be a dream from our main protagonist of Sevens, Yuga Ono. Voiced by Hira Ishibara. He had one other role, and that's it. In English, he's voiced by Brian Basca, who everyone may be familiar with as Bell Okama from Damachi, as well as Tai Ashima from Food Wars. I guess I know what he has been doing after that. Hits his head. We begin with the opening sequence, which, man, I actually really like this opening sequence. And it was very banger, and pretty much going with this more. We're going with this is upbeat, pretty much happy, just music and whatnot. It was kind of surprising how that. And yeah. And fun fact, Japanese pronunciation 7 is na-na, and there's 7 nas in it. And we got the English opening, which is just instrumentals. And that's kind of disappointing. And it does feel like a bit more techno-babble with the English opening, but I prefer the Japanese one, at least it sounds badass a bit. So we get to Yuga Ono, trying to program and basically insert a new Rush Duel into his dual disc. But the drone doesn't want on it, so he puts a 6 minute and 66 seconds. Yes, but that doesn't make any sense of time, and so far it should be 5 minutes. But anyways, 5 strikes. He already got 5 strikes. 1 more and he's bad. Yeah, this is gonna be the weirdest arc number of number 6 being Goha and being the Hell's number. Sometimes being Hell's also being Hell's number sometimes. Then again, the actual show's arc number is 7. Anyways, we get to a bit of an outside of Goha. the main location of the series, Goha City, which is basically if Amazon owns a whole city. We begin with a sort of secondary main with the Goha 7 Elementary School, and cycling normally until our main protagonist gets surprised by. You'll be also surprised that basically our main protagonist is surprisingly the youngest at 11 years old. The younger protagonist in the Yu-Gi-Oh anime is also riding his custom bicycle. Yeah, by the way, the W was a helmet, but understandable since bike safety in America, and also wheels. He meets Ryusuke Ino and Kazura Kashiro, who are not really Punch main important characters, and more like basically background characters who he has and saw basically as secondary characters. Tries to play off as a champion challenges of metals. Come out with a better excuse or something, but okay. We decided, while these characters are based, I will actually focus on, we'll go focus on our actual main character. So we actually go focus on Gavin Sogetsu, or Gato, although his Japanese name being Gato. But I'll be referring to Gavin by his English name. I'll be referring to Gavin throughout the entire review. I mean, Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon fans usually tend to refer to them by their English names, and some are never mentioned by their Japanese names because it's a lot easier, and also because it's a lot easier to pronounce. Voiced by Nasuke Harumi. Tanjiro from Demon Slayer, Stephen Orion from Yu-Gi-Oh! Art V, and for Fates fans, say again for Yumi Control. Honestly, I'm quite surprised how they're able to get his voice actor of everyone's favorite Demon Slayer, aside from Lightning and Wild Beast. He's also the Wild Beast will probably be there in a few episodes later. In English, he's voiced by Brandon Larney, who also voiced Akira, Zaro, Sato, and Kenchi from Yu-Gi-Oh! V-Rain. So, well, at least I know behalf of and then the latest class president of Parallel Universe. Also, he's assigned by two other secondary characters, Rain and Reno. Rainy and Rain as a Koshi in Japanese, of course. They are my favorite supporting characters of the show, and as well as being around Gavin for the most time. But at least they also can act independent. By the way, I don't really like secondary characters. The reason why I don't really like that is just because they tend to feel like they always just need to be. They're just here just to develop another character or just focus on around that set character. I'm looking at you, Box Club from SMG4. You don't really do anything other than just hype up the God Box. Complaining about Dual is basic bicycle. While they were talking about, they were also introduced to another character, Rami Cassidy, or Kashimura in Japanese, voiced by Tomo's Kashira, who is Lin from Gun Gale Online, which is a spin-off of Sota Online, and we'll have the closest thing to Kirito meeting Lin meeting Kirito. English website is out as well, which I can't find much about. What is it? Yeah, who's been basically taking photos instead. Anyways, by the way, our English website doesn't have much rules on the screen, so yeah. Gavin asks why Yuga is not punished this time, and he responds with opening his dueling disc and freaking out and dueling disc, and this universe is created by universe the dueling is created by Goha Corporation or Enterprise, depending on the dub. If you're referring to them as in the dub, who also owns the city, and I already mentioned that in the dueling disc they are going to just use it opening. We'll give you a penalty. If you have 6, you're pretty much bad. Yuga wants to install new rules, and pretty much Gavin was pretty much screaming about it where they do where they were you in the classroom where well giving Gavin an explanation. Yuga says that his icon a catchphrase my road because he calls his inventions roads. Yeah, that explains his and his plan is to build an invention that would help people who kind of get sick and tired of basically of the strict dueling world. Basically, anyone who's not that interested in master duels or speed duels. Anyways, Gavin will want to talk about this after school. Who there some blue hair boy was looking and listening throughout the entire conversation, and Robin taking photos instead of actually, for some reason, not actually recording them. Yeah, this will be important later, and for at least the first 13 or so episodes, but yeah. Yeah, then again, it's not really important too much. We get to the section where apparently it prohibits trading cards pretty much without supervision. Weird fact, despite that Konami's completely okay with that. With a second-hand market in the scene. Anyways, after the passing through the tours, basically background characters and everything, Ryuga basically meets a blue-haired kid from earlier, who is pretty much the number one duelist. His name is Takahashi Kachiro, or Audacious Kinsta. Yeah, an entire name change in English. Voiced by Takahashi, who voiced Lance from last season, who also wanted to be called Rook. I know he is also called Rook. For the Mervia's sake, I'm going to refer to him mostly as Luke as his nickname because it's official, and secondly, I think Rook is never mostly on the stars. And yeah, and later we're going to meet his sister, who was going to be originally named Leia, which is obvious not to Star Wars, but changed because it was too similar, and also because the change was due to notify from Goha. That was said from one of the Twitter posts. Yeah, oh yeah, if anyone asks me about yeah, this is oh wait, this part is I know this was written months in advance. I didn't have time I forgot to talk about that months in advance, but I'm sorry, this part was where I was supposed to say my predictions on Boba Fett versus Predator from that battle. It gets done before the first episode, and secondly after Kaiba. And secondly, and after Obi-Wan Kenobi, I'm gonna take a very long break from Star Wars for a while. A lot of new content after Star Wars has been popping. I need a long break. Marvel can stay. At least they try to be unique despite its ups and downs. Also, English voice actor is Matt Gao, who I can find anything about much of his voice acting career. Yuga just went by and but decided to straight out touch up a bit of his butt, causing it to stop. The rules basically placed on this place, and Gavin only followed because he was late. Luke explains on the full moon, holographic X appeared, and the legends talk about an engineer who tried the secret door inside this room. The king of duels, we see basically a holographic man. Basically, the way we get it reveals. But his voice actor is. Anyways, I'm not gonna reveal his name. That will be a lot later. But his voice actor is Daisuke Noa. I remember this guy being waived from FGO, Joe from Fairy Tail, Rock Hard from Black Lagoon, Jack the Ripper from Clover, Ken Shinra from Black God, Miki from Persona 4, and many other roles, including 2 other roles from Yu-Gi-Oh! Like Leo and Yumi, so yeah. At least this guy. And I consider the definition of badass, and surprisingly mostly clean, except for that one time, but he later admitted and apologized for that incident, and still works for voice acting, so yeah. Anyways, Luke tries to battle him, but runs out of time and gets penalties. It's quite weird how we kind of see we never really get to see Master Duels. Yes, I know this is supposed to be Rush Duels, but kind of weird that we see more of the aftermatch and quick duels. Yuga decided to basically, without basic insult the new rules, And we focus on Gavin.
Darling, I think you order your dinner lah. I give you my phone, my phone.
One sec. Sorry about that. As I was saying, yeah, yeah. So, yeah. Let me repeat where. We go put a focus onto Gavin looking for Luke and Yuga, and found basically the secret door. He tries to tell for not coming into the council room, and questions the holographic man, dethroned back to his authority to basically install the door to the new rules. And then we see the door finding out that it was also Rami who's been also following secretly. So yeah, we get to all four characters. All four basically our main crew of the series. Yep, our main four crew members we would actually more focus on throughout this entire series, and also be now, let me go get this out of the way. Yuga is going to be our main protagonist. Although, yeah, despite his track record and his win-lose streak later on, but yeah, I think it really works well. Luke is our obvious main protagonist. Luke is basically our Jody Wheeler / basically guy who wants to become. Mainly, I would say his main rival. His second rival, I would say when we get to him, but I would say his second rival is more of a kind of secondary rival than the main rival. I'm sorry. Luke is more of the main rival to him, and basically, sometimes he also has a. He also kind of feels like Soul Burner, ironic considering he voice planes around last season. He was basically best friends with Soul Burner. So yeah, Gavin is also going to be our sort of main person. Gavin is sort of going to be our main. Gavin is going to be sort of our kind of guy who kind of is the main character, and mostly he acts as more of, I would say, more this guy who prefers this honorable fight, this warrior leader archetype type guy. And Rami is going to be our female character, and going to be our Roz in the series. Going to be our Tia in the series. Also, this is also going to be something in Braid again, and benefits of this new studio is that you can keep up with a bit of the time. That, I'm gonna say it, later on, normally female characters in Yu-Gi-Oh! Get treated pretty poorly usually. I say usually, despite their first hats, but yeah, they tend to be a bit of just there. Still cool characters, but there. So, yeah, I felt that the studio at least knows how to write about female characters. Bridge so far has been a bit of a better studio in terms of writing female characters and everything, despite how they mostly don't really use Takahashi's art style. But more focus on using their own art. Mostly while they more use a lot more generic art style. At least it still tries to be Yugi. At least tries to be more of at least somewhat of the Yu-Gi-Oh series at least on its own. I do enjoy all these characters, and yeah, they kind of act as our main roster characters for now, so yeah. Next up, we get Luke basically uses EMP to drone. By now, actually, we will know why in the next episode. The holographic man Podian ascends and the door reveals the set open. And he comments that the one who become the king of duels is finally here. Cheers, but realize the dualism hasn't fully installed yet, but the batteries of the dueling disc started dying, and Gavin was like, "Nope, I'm not taking it." Worried about penalties and everything, said, and decided why not to leave. Psych! He literally just used Yuga's bicycle, power out the dueling disc, and fully install the updated new rules. And yeah, kind of Gavin. Yeah, I can kind of see why Gavin really worked with Yuga. He saved his reputation to be mainly because he saves Gavin's reputation, to be honest. And the start of the rush duel, and notice straight off the bat, we get to 5-3. Yeah, and the duel disc forms a 7, and the battle begins. This duel is basically a tutorial episode, but I will mention some highlight parts as well as the ace monsters, but yeah. Anyways, and weirdly enough, the holographic man literally adapts to it pretty well and summons the Blue Eyes White Dragon. Pretty much Seto Kaiba's iconic iconic card and its ace monster. And pretty much as tribute summoning it. I will. Yeah, okay. Now, most of the high level monsters are going to be CG. For the most part, would be CG. Which, looking at it, I think the CG is pretty good, but not UFO levels of CG good, or trying to rip off the Steven Universe. Yes, I know Land of Lustrous came out before Steven Universe, but still, I just want to make the joke. Sorry, it's been a running gag for me to compare Land of Lustrous to Steven Universe. Anyways, after talking blah, let's hit it. By the way, Yuga basically gave the reason why he recruited rush duels. Basically, master rules were a bit rigid and he needed an alternative. Anyways, after pretty much doing a tribute summon, he basically activated his ace monster, the Seventh Road Magician. And surprisingly, doesn't share the usual scene stats of 250 attack and 200 defense. Although Dark Magician was like basic 2,100 defense, and Decoder doesn't really have is a link monster, so it doesn't have defense. Who basically makes up for the weird witch, and to make up for weirdly tradition breaking up, not having that. Basically, his buffing attack is that one attribute. Is that you get its additional 300 attack for basically one attribute card. Gains 300 for each one attribute. There's weirdly enough, despite being called the Seventh Road, only six attributes, and divine is
my mobile now?
Sure. Oh yeah, sure.
Is the meal coming?
Yeah, meal's
What do you order?
Can I pause it?
Leave it, go and do what you want. It's okay.
Sorry.
You ordered back.
Yeah, sorry about that. Summons the Seventh Row Magician. So yeah, personally I think the Seventh Row Magician, if you couldn't tell, is basically the Dark Magician, although he has gained attributes of attacking. And yeah, he would have. And yeah, you can tell some of the similarities, especially in season 2. And yeah, he tends to feel like big. And while they both also have dark attributes. Oops. So yeah, basically that. It's kind of weird how we didn't get. It's kind of weird how we have our dark magician wannabe and our blue eyes white dragon and wannabe with a. I'm sorry. Sorry. No, I need to stop making film. Wait, why am I talking like that? Although he does betray some attributes of the dark of last season, it is used as as Ace Monster, Deco Talker, where they're both dark attributes, basically dark and wielding sword, basically dark colored with golden highlights with green wielding a sword, dark attributes increases on attacks, and seven roads and Deco Talker, respective owners connected to another character that I'm not gonna spell or do obvious spoilers because reasons. Anyways, yeah, and also having the seven. And because they're dark anyways, for dark magician similarities, these have they're both level 7 monsters, being the ace monsters of the main protagonist. Both break the visual theme of using 7's row monsters wearing similar clothing, and dark magicians one of them, and also having relation to you having basically a Kazed, I'm not gonna spoil it, right? He has a paladin form. Sorry if it spoils a bit of the season. Has an obvious paladin form that would, but I'm not gonna spoil what it did much about the paladin form. Okay, yeah, pretty much the dark paladin form. Yeah, I kind of spoiled a bit of the obvious mechanic that will be coming a lot later, but that's a story for another day. Obvious having twin blast, obvious having its own different wave rust. And an obvious character that and an obvious character, Genobin counterpart character that would also be a part of it. Oh shit! And yeah, I will talk about that Genobin, and also having a female companion that I'm not gonna spoil right here. We'll get to him when we get to him. We'll get to him when we get to him. For now, but for now we're gonna focus more on the main stuff before we go on to the rush to. But anyways, so yeah. And after the hologram. Anyways, basically decided to also increase a lot of his decided to also use a lot of buff cards and finish off the blue eyes white dragon and ending the episode. Anyway, after the holographic man has been defeated, all the penalties removed, all happening at the same night, pretty much also including installing all the rush duels and everything. By the way, what would happen? I wonder what would happen to anyone who's currently doing anything ongoing duel while this happened. The episode ends with the doors being open. And the adventure and the road to the king of duels has begun. We also got to the ending sequence being the school anthem of the series, which I do enjoy actually. I think the first episode's alright. It was meant to be an introduction to rush duels. Before I moved on as well, I would also want to quickly bring up this real quick. You know, what's funny about this series is that another card game anime was releasing around the same anime season. I'll give you a hint. And it was from an online card game that was something of similarities to us another card game I used to play a lot with the Hearts of the Stone. Okay, yeah, even though it's Shadowverse. Yeah, Shadowverse has all got its own anime, which was airing around the same channel, same anime season, and yeah, I did feel like it was ripping off Yu-Gi-Oh! And no, I'm not gonna cover that show. I will cover that in a different video, but for now, I want to focus more on Yu-Gi-Oh! For at least this July, at least. Basically, try to rip off. Same goes with their next seasons, which I did hear were a lot better, but though I have watched a few episodes of Flames, I did enjoy Flames, but it was got a little too, boring a bit. Anyways, episode 2. The Man Who Possessed a Demon. Or The Future King of Duels. Yeah, a lot of English titles kind of spoiled a little bit, but yeah. We begin with where we left off. And also Yuga and Luke, who were basically one of the King of Duels. Surprising! In almost every series except for V-Ray, he's literally talking about the King of Duels. No, that last season doesn't count, and doesn't have always the King of Games title. After the opening, we look and Luke basically decided why not to basically walk through the door, turns to be a hologram. The way he walks is just like an NPC path. Path finding is broken, and it turns out they need to find in themselves. And the holographic man left. Luke basically decided he just wants to become the King of Duels. And don't worry, dude. You have your manga series where you win every time. I know this series. I know that Luke will later on have the. Yeah, I'm not gonna spoil it, but yeah, the guy has a biggest win streak. Although he doesn't win all the time, he lost like 3 times. I know this is Luke's manga, but yeah. Who basically said his plans is to basically have Yuga hired and then let Luke take over, and that sounds to basically become the King of Duels. Kind of weird idea, but okay. The next day, the school. Yuga tells his friends about the rush duels he installed, but caught the attention of Luke, who tells him, "Dude, we're supposed to keep it a secret." What do you mean we're supposed to keep it a secret? Yeah. I thought you were supposed to. Sure, it doesn't happen. What do you mean we should? Yeah, anyways. So, Rami. Luke basically tells him to keep this. Rami's decided, basically, let's start rush duel on the rooftop so we don't have to see who gets it. So decided around recess time, having as a warning that above recess time against school regulations, where the students was about to record the whole fight, and then Luke short-circuited every single phone in existence. Turns out it was revealed that he has the Palti effect. Named after the technological scientist Wolfgang Paulson, it was basically the electricity and electronic devices basically shut down around the person, despite the fact it was just poor time. Despite the fact that he's based on his deck is more based on dragons, and we are not. Duel. It's nice until he's gonna be our first usual rivalry, despite the fact he has mostly unlike most. He is gonna be our rival, despite most of the rivals in Yu-Gi-Oh. I say most of the rivals in the show I have. Let me describe every single rival in a nutshell.
So after
Being kind of meant to be, he just off character, kind of just meant to be sort of a rival. I don't know if they were considering his plan at one point to be a rival, but yeah, it still is. Chaz is basically, he's sort of a friendly school rival. Jax is like, I am the king of games type guy. Razra is sort of a counterpart. Darka is more of the sort of rival, one quarter of the pair of rivals. And Ryoko Kami, basically the third and last one. People in the ship. Third and last rival in the ship. Who basically is, I'm gonna do what you get. Yeah, I haven't done much. So, yeah. So, yeah. It's a little flashback to basically his demon and origins from his great grandfather. We are going to we're going to see later on the show, but he will not really be that important anyways, other than, oh, here's your watch. Yeah, the watch is going to be an important thing. We will get to that. So let's continue. Yuga attributes seventh row magician, but ultimately fails to get at least one monster attribute and gets a spell instead. And pretty much among at the elite. So, but Lou has decided to summon his ace monster. Multi-strike Dragon in Dragius. Now, this ace monster, yeah, if you also did hear of it, Sunshine being basically where he says twice, is, yeah, this is to represent that his card is representing of the ace. Who, fitting enough, despite also including the arc number, which, yeah, the dragon design in its goes with this badass more going with the dragon with mostly a blue dragon with with 7 dots around its body, with 7 orbs around its body, including its background. Obvious meta, including both its eyes, referencing the fact that the level of the monster itself and the reference to being the 7th series to you get 7's eyes. Yeah, I don't know how they're gonna manage this. And sort of his dragon deck is pretty. Yeah, I better mention his. Yeah, while Yuga's deck is the 7th row, which is unsurprisingly the 7th row magician. And you know, considering they're both similar, considering they're basically the dark magician. Basically the dark magician, but basically into other attributes. Striker dragons are mostly revolving around dragons, except for their fusion forms and Dragon's Burst, are 7 dragons that basically appears and have all 2,500 attack and 150 defense that mostly act like basically easier ways to deal with enemies and basically do a lot of piercing damage. So yeah, so basically, well, the design which keeps the 250 base attack and makes you want, which yeah. Which ability is send the top card to your graveyard to the deck. Yeah, similar abilities. And this turn only, after destroying a monster, you basically get to attack the second time. Oh, that sounds like a win of a fury. Sorry. Sorry, I spoiled on something today. Anyways, moving that aside. the duel itself is going to be, although a bit best friend, that we are going to be. So yeah, basically destroy two monsters and attack the second time and wins the duel. You got lost. Luckily, it doesn't lose that bad, but yeah, usually somewhat, but not too. The duel itself was pretty good. Excuse me. Which keeps the results of us a secret. Keep the rest of this whole secret and no one recording it and today. But unfortunately, someone was recording it. Oh. Gavin basically reveals. Gavin's back reveals that, hey, there's a drone! And I'll be naming him in the next episode, mentioning his voice actor, streaming the whole thing live. And you know what's quite surprising? The voice. Also in the dub, it goes with more YouTube-like formula colors, while in the sub, it pretty much just decided to go for a different. Yep. Oh yeah, sorry. So yeah, the drone in his back turns out to be something special. Oh yeah, well, yeah, it was kind of weird how the font color swap between the YouTube colors to hub colors. Yeah, I'm not gonna mention it as much.
Better be careful on your foot. He's here now.
Oh yeah, right. I'll check. Yeah. So yeah, the drone reveals himself, and we'll not talk about much who that drone's name is until the end of the episode. Anyways, the episode ends with the enterprises. Yeah, I'm gonna refer to them as corporation or enterprise. They're swappable, to be honest. Employees basically going, what is this rush tools and everything, and they're all installed and everything, all that. And then we also see the president with a rotary phone for some reason, despite the fact we live in a day and age where iPhones and Androids basically dominate the industry. And the girl and the president chuckles in the episode. Another alright episode, and was pretty much mostly focusing on setting up a bit of the rivalry we'll get to later. Next episode, Rami Secrets and Rock the Rush Duel. One sec, I need to go check some. I'll be back. Okay, back to where I'm saying. Sorry, I just need to do something real quick, and yeah, I know. Sorry about that. I really need to do something real quick. So episode 3. Okay, but begins with Rami preparing to go to school and soon to be later her ace card. Yuga basically is back to school, and Luke is telling him that the rest of the videos have been deleted recently. We basically get information about Rami Cassidy. She's smart, athletic, and pretty much a rock star. This is narrated by Gavin and has some little suspicion about. She knows and knows people's weaknesses and whatnot. In the dub, Luke also called Sir super sus. There, I made an Among Us joke. Happy now? Okay. That's what I'm saying. Also, in the dub, Yuga says to read this as vegetables instead of simply bell peppers in the dub. Okay. So basically, they made a new road invention, a weird looking light detector, a Winchester fishing rod with a microphone attached to it. Fails to basically something. But hey, at least it didn't kill you in the process, or any of the members. Yuga decided to let her invention do his research. And so his invention basically and secondly, what happened? Oh, wait, right. Sorry. Yeah, I know we get to Yuga's mom a lot later on the show, but she's never really that important. Also, kind of weird that we don't really see Yuka's dad, but anyways, other than that, I assume busy working. I'm assuming he works overseas or she's a single mom. I went to a sperm bank or something like that. I don't know. Kazu, we saw the drone from earlier, and ended up giving a name Kazu. Yeah, I think I will just probably just. Yeah, until now I'm gonna mention his voice actor. So his voice actor is Yusuke Kabashi, Saburo from ReZero, Skara from Doctor Stone, and surprising how much he has free day after getting killed so many times. Yeah, back at his more popular roles. And yes, he finally got a name and basically that. In English, Japanese. His English voice actor is Jack Pauls, aside from being the voice actor from Zexel. But the irony part is actually the voice actor for the last series, Yusuke Fujima, had an AI decide to become a robot. The AI itself. The irony is strong with this one. Oh, the irony is strong with this one. Oh my god, yeah. Oh my god. Oh my god. I'm so sorry. It just feels like that. The irony is strong. Sorry, I was just looking at some old internet memes a bit, but anyways, let's continue. So, Rami asks Yuga why his favorite road is. It's obviously rush duels. Yuga he basically is doing rush duels and gave her a spare deck, while Luke, also and Gato decided to basically check what's in the guitar case. Also, anyways, one goes outside. Yuga and Rami go for rush duels, more of a newbie fight battle. Why not? Why not? Why not? But it was nice. Oh, while this happens, Luke is trying to see what. So the guitar, but Gato was like, "Dude, try to stop me because a violation of privacy." Luke wants to become the King of Duels and wants to stop Rami at all costs. Anyways, back to the duel. Rami summons an ace monster that is basically prison guitarist, the shining superstar. Yeah. Basically, take a 100 light points, and basically give your monsters attack equal to the amount they have, 300 each. In Japanese, it's called the same name, but a different title of the colorful lights. I don't get why the name changed, but assuming shine superstar sounds better than colorful light. Anyways, we get to do a brief flashback of where she got the card, and her favorite idol got or Princess G, and basically uses it as her lucky charm. Luke ends up opening the simple guitar, and turns out to be a simple guitar and a bunch of others. What did you expect? What do you expect? A bunch of guns inside a briefcase like the Mexico trilogy? Anyways, you guys as well as Lucky to basically redraw able to reactivate some sort of rejection effect and wins the duel. And the episode ends with a kid with green hair who will be a lot important later. Episode 3 is also pretty much alright. So I think pretty much alright. It was more to get more character a bit and pretty much get episode 4. So long, student council president, or rush duel resignation. The duel begins with the daily life of Gavin or Sagetsu, who wakes up early morning, goes to school, draws a card if he has his daily fortune, does a life jogging, cuts choreography, and basically doing basically pretty much a lot of that. One day at the school and gets interrupted by Yuga and drags him all the way to an empty room. Rami and Luke basically being the camera for the rest of the promo. Okay. Rami, well, basically benefiting from being a cameraman. But Rami doesn't want to sing, so they decided to basically get Gavin to sing. But he has typical Hollywood tone deaf singing. At least he's a much better singer than Justin Bieber. Oh wait, we stopped hating Justin Bieber for like a very long time ago. So yeah. Also, fun fact by the way, in the end, fun fact, Evan and tries to sing the song, but proven to be tone deaf. His voice actor had kind of he admitted that it was difficult to sing, so awkwardly. Anyways, back to the school. Well, back to acting and Gavin. Anyways, he acts less and less like a school council president and basically not a student. Anyway, so to basically go back to his success of the program and everything, the commercials and dozens of like buttons. He program caused you to basically the promo weekend he just says and totally not the pro. He program and the caused you to basically have so much likes. So anyways, Luke asked Gavin to change the national anthem to the school song, something else, and isn't this morning he basically that his ace monster being Yami ruler or Yumi ruler. Although if you're going by his Japanese name Yamo ruler. So yeah. One sec. Okay, back to the review. So yeah. So basically, he decided I'm gonna take down rush tools from the school, and so they decided to take it. Tells Gavin when they were about to do the rush duel, just some kid was like, "Hey Gavin, can you review the school posters and everything?" And as well as doing other stuff, and wow, he's able to do everything pretty well. After doing with everything for the day, he decided to basically go to do voicemail and basically do the duel. We get to the actual duel, and we see Raza and Ozzy and Riska. Yeah, I'm going to try between names to be honest. Yeah, I'm going to switch between names to be honest, since both names are good. Whereas Kamito's, and no, not the baseball player. I mean, basically the stagehands who dressed up all in black, basically just running the crew on like a lot of kabukis, and usually help with saying, at least on others. Takes off his usual clothes to reveal, I'm not joking, his Kamito. And I mean, it was despite the posters and everything. Usually, most of the time when you see him in the show, he tends to wear mostly his normal clothing. I question how he's not feeling so uncomfortable in that suit. And as we basically, yes, it is to draw his cards for. And yeah, I know after this duel, starting in the next duel, he'll just normally use his own hands, where he basically calls it the Neros and gets his style. Yeah, I mean, that'll be a few episodes later, but yeah, I don't really get what's the point of his date. But I do enjoy the secondary fun personalities, but kind of unnecessary to have and draw your cards. In English, his name anyway. Turn 3, Gavin decided to basically summon his tribute summon his ace monster, Yami Ruler, the Dark Deceiver, or in Japanese, Yumi Ruler, the demonic commander. And yeah, it's kind of weird the name change, but understandable why the name change. Names. where its ability is basic. In English, by the way, pretty much play on darkness. In Japanese, it's play on stop, to stop. And for those, which does require doing something normal. Then you just discard a card, which normally requires that changing the positions, basically until the next opponent's turn, or this card destroyed, can attribute something 7 or higher. Hello, basically floodgates. Yeah, if you don't know Yu-Gi-Oh! Floodgates are basically, yeah, I'm not gonna let you play a single card. The fight continues, he can summon the sentence. Basically do more basic swap head, shield, and sword, basically. That's all defensive one. And basically attacks you're gonna be on a losing state. It's Yuga's turn, and after that he decided to tribute summon the card I mentioned earlier, Seven's Road Witch. Yeah. So yeah, this is the card I tried not to spoil earlier, but if you're wondering, yes, the Seven's Road Witch. For those who do not know, the Seven's Road Witch, which is that her ability is basically at the cost of send one card to your hand to the graveyard. Summon a level 7 or higher dark attribute. The spellcaster monster from your hand to you. Face up. If you summon basic to the 7th row magician, yeah! If you summon a certain other person, then by this effect, gain 400 attack. And it goes until the end of the turn. If you have a brain, it's 7th row magician. Of course, it's basically to get 7th row magician earlier. Or a discount, a bit of a discount. Also, she gets 400 attack, and then anyways, Gavin entered his track card Skull Samal, basically. When his opponent decided to get 50 low. But that really doesn't really affect the witch because it's special summons, no tributes. Yeah. Oh my god, yeah. And yeah, summons this. Yeah, and looks a little weird that it's straight up just is that he literally did the episode. Oh, then when you, it's kind of weird when you have a literal CGI character right next to a literal. But that doesn't really affect the witch. Because, yeah, I mean, yes, we're having a CG right next to a hand-drawn character. I know I've seen Kirby right back at you. At least they try to blend in the background, but for the most part without making it look into this. Anyways, activate his ability, and literally wants to do. Okay, destroy Yami ruler. Then 7th Row Witch, you got good with friendly machine blow, but yeah. The duel was good, but yeah, it does show Gavin being, what I would like to say, the weakest out of the 4 main characters, although, well, after the second duel, he'll get a lot better, having a couple of wins on his build and whatnot. Gavin is in result steps down, and yeah, I'm gonna assume this is gonna be where he's gonna become more of a more often with the main characters to see and acting more like with listening without instant council thing and. Who am I kidding? And he literally. He becomes the next student council election and won. Yeah, there goes that. Luke was like, I can't wait to, once he gets to resign, I can't wait to become student class president. Oh come on, I thought we were going to win. And we get to watch Fan. Kazu helping with some stamping. Rita, Ross, jump. I'm Stu. And curtain and fan and confetti. Over Gavin. Calling his proudly name, proudly ending the episode. Episode 4 was pretty good, and I think the first 4 episodes were just to get at least 1 or 2 main characters to duel, at least before we go with our main thing, and a lot of things that's going to happen with a lot later on in the show. So, yeah. One second. I'm back. So yeah. So we get to episode 5. Wait, right. Luke's brave fight, or breaking news. Well, that makes sense for the plot of this episode. Excuse me. It begins with Luke surprised that the Rush Duel videos have been deleted, and does. Excuse me. Any references to Rush Duels, thankfully, Google and YouTube doesn't do that stuff. Luke tries to basically call customer service / client servants, even though they're basically the exact same thing. And yeah. Yuga, Gavin, and basically go to school and find a way to stop it. And pretty much need to deal with a news reporting crew and Lou really wanting another. Rumor announced that he would become king of duels one day. The next day, the news talks about how Rush Duel is the worst. It's like the initial reaction of pretty much this anime and 50-50 of the fan base be. Rush Duels. Or something. For kids. Shadowline for kids. Rush Duels is meant to be something for kids. It's like trying to compare an old Disney cartoon or a show for modern storytelling like that we have like 20 times, like Adventure Time of Bradley Falls, for example. And the article calls Luke that he says he's the king and everyone's the servant. So the king decided, alright, time to deal with this. Pretty much to redo the whole thing, but the Senators refused to update, which would update the news crew mentioning the tools and getting the club removed. Resko, or his English name in English, was Pittman. Yeah, that actually makes sense. Although his Japanese name remains reveal the truth. Lost is cool, but after regaining, he decided, okay, I'll agree you to a duel. Luke decided to do it. Yeah, Luke decided to do it, and we begin. Yeah, the duel itself. Yeah, a lot of his deck mostly focuses on the new. Yeah, Boku Ashura is basically more of the deck where he basically, I'm going to reveal you the truth and everything else, and have his ace monster be the Taro machine. The newsflash. This machine, Taro. I feel like this is the only time. Also, the only time I feel like a CG is simple compared to most of the CG of the others. Excuse me. Means basically his ace monster. It feels like yeah, and also the second one as well. It also feels a little funny when what's kind of funny. He has a CG character destroying a CG. Luke special summons his Rush Dragon and finish off ending the duel. Yeah, not really too much happens with that. After the duel, Briscoe basically promised to redo the Child Truth about Rush Duels, and pretty much the episode ending with a special article that Luke read a piece, which is just photoshopping him in life and all. Good episode, and I say it was a bit slow at the beginning, but I think it brings up the pace. Hey, at least it's not that slow compared to Flames. I do enjoy Flames, but it was really a slow series in my opinion. Overall, I think the first 5 episodes were alright, pretty good. Getting some character development as well as some world building and pretty much a lot of important stuff later. The fifth episode, importantly, would also, while starting off as feel like a regular episode, would turn into where some of the plot lines and important things will happen later. Where a lot of important stuff will happen later. Where a small action, but a big impact. Mostly, at least for the first... Excuse me. Mainly for the first few episodes. Mainly for the first 13 episodes, so, but yeah, later on it will also expand upon and everything. So yeah. And while this one think of, and while I do have plans to do a sort of month of Yu-Gi-Oh! A month of Yu-Gi-Oh! In honor of Zuka Takahashi. Yeah, and it's nice to do something a little fun for a month, to be honest, so yeah. Next time, I think about going back to the OG days a bit. With dual monsters.